Gravitas, powered by Skoda, made of smart imagination.
Terror attacks, a refugee crisis and a pandemic that keeps coming back. These are busy days for world leaders, and some of them are calling it quits. Well, here's the first big casualty. Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. He's stepping down after just 1 year in office. Japan's ruling party will hold a leadership race on the 29th of this month, 29 September, and Suga will not be part of it. He says he would much rather focus on beating the pandemic.
While thinking about running and thinking about COVID-19 measures and the election campaign, doing both takes enormous energy. I've decided that I should just choose one or the other. I've made many promises to the people. I want to dedicate myself to prevent the spread of this infection. This is what I have decided.
Frankly, he is not beating the pandemic. The pandemic just beat him. Suga's vaccine rollout was too slow. While other G7 nations raced ahead, Japan was way behind. That was strike one. Strike two was the Olympics. Suga was adamant on staging the games. He knew the Wuhan virus cases were rising in his country. He knew the hospitals were filled to the brink. But he went ahead anyway. It was a deeply unpopular decision, and as it turned out, a fateful one. Suga's approval ratings had been sliding for months. The pandemic accelerated his exit. Next question, who will replace him? Most pundits are betting on this man, Fumio Kishida. He's a former foreign minister of Japan. Last year, he was touted as a possible successor to Shinzo Abe, but he came in second to Suga. 2021 could be his year. There are also murmurs of a high-profile comeback. I'm talking about Shinzo Abe himself. Apparently, he has regained his health. He's more active on Twitter at least, and he's making more public appearances. September 29th may be too early for him, but Abe and comebacks are a popular Japanese love story. To be fair to Suga, he inherited a tough political situation. He had to follow Japan's longest-serving prime minister and throw himself into pandemic work from day one. Plus, he was more of a concession candidate. Nobody else stepped up, so Suga did. He got the job. But here's a bigger question, and frankly a more interesting one. Why do Japanese prime ministers keep resigning? It's like a game of musical chairs. Since the year 2000, Japan has had 10 different prime ministers. That's 21 years and 10 prime ministers. And don't forget, Shinzo Abe was PM for 9 of those. What explains the string of resignations? Some say it's part of Japanese culture. Embattled leaders quit as soon as they can to save face and protect their honor. Others say it's because the Japanese political system demands accountability. If opinion polls reject a leader, they do not wait around for elections, they just walk away. And that's exactly what Suga is doing. His premiership does not make a mark on the world stage, but his resignation could. Suga is the first major world leader to resign during the pandemic. Others have mostly fired their health ministers. In 2021, 8 countries sacked their health ministers: Ecuador, Austria, Iraq, Argentina, Jordan, Peru, Slovakia and Mongolia. Brazil has had 4 health ministers since the pandemic began. But let's be honest, we all know who the problem is. Their president, Jair Bolsonaro, but he has no plans to resign. In Europe, only one world leader has resigned over the pandemic, the Prime Minister of Slovakia. He tried to sign a secret deal with Russia for Sputnik vaccines. Controversy followed and he had to step down. Talk about an irony. The only European leader who resigned was actually trying to acquire more vaccines. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, powered by Skoda, made of smart imagination.